All right, so for this one, we're going to move into Chapter 2, Lesson 4, which is on page 117. So 117, this is Lesson 4. So this is all about percents greater than 100% and then percents that are less than 1%. So greater than 100% and less than 1. So we're going to jump right into the real-world link. Here it says there are over 220,000 species of plants on Earth. Of those, 590 are carnivorous. I can't talk today, guys. Sorry. Plants such as the Venus flytrap catch their prey as food. So basically, these types of plants eat meat. Okay, those are actual plants that eat meat. So it says write the fraction of species of carnivorous plants in simplest form. So 590, right? Because that's how many there are. 590. Okay, we can divide a 10 or 100 out of these actually, or 10. Let's just do 10. Okay, we're gonna do 10 here. So once you divide, you're gonna get 59 over 22,000. Okay, so we need to divide this out. So I'm gonna put 59 in here and 22,000 out here. Okay, so clearly 22,000 does not go into 59. So we're gonna have to add a little bit to this line, add a decimal, bring your decimal up, add a 0. Well, that doesn't work. So I'm just going to put zeros above all these because that doesn't work. Well, that still doesn't work. Now we can work this out. So that would be 2 out of, so 22,000 goes into 59,000 twice. So that would be 44,000. So we're going to subtract. We get 5,000. Bring down another 0. Okay. Well, 50,000, same thing. Another 2. Oh, sorry, that should be 15. So it'd be 150,000. So 150,000 would be 6 times. So we get 132,000. Subtract again. Take from there, get 8. Get 18,000. So we're just going to go ahead and stop there because that's the nearest thousandth. Okay, we can round this now. So we're going to get 0.0026 and we're going to round it to 0.003 because we want the nearest thousandth. Okay, so since we rounded that, we're going to make this a fraction in example or problem number 3. Okay, so we rounded this one right here. That's the thousandths place. This is the 10,000ths place. We use this number. Since it's a 6, we round up. So since that's 3 thousandths, our fraction would be 3 over 1,000. 3 thousandths. Okay, and the last one here. It says since 0.3 equals 30% and 0.03 equals 3%, what percent is equal to 0.0003? Well, that would be 0.03%. Or if we move the decimal twice to the right, it would be 0.3%. I thought they had already done that one. All right, so we're going to go on to the next page and talk about percents as decimals and fractions again. So this is what we've been working with the entire chapter so far. So we're going to continue on with this. So now, percents greater than 100% or less than 1% can also be written as decimals or fractions. So if we have 0.2%, okay, that is 0.2 of a percent. If we move the decimal like we did in the last lesson, so we have 0.2%, and we're making this a decimal, remember, we have to divide by 100, which means you're going to move the decimal to the left twice. Remember those empty spots, you put 0, so 0.002, okay, as a decimal. Now that we have the decimal form, we can turn this into a fraction. Well, that would be 2 thousandths, which is 2 over 1,000. Okay, this can be simplified by dividing by 2. Well, you get 1 over 500. So that is your 2 answers right there because they want a fraction and a decimal. Fraction in simplest form. Okay, let's do one more like that one. So jump over to page 121, and I'm going to do number 3 and number 4. Okay, so we have 15 hundredths of a percent. Okay, if I go to do this the decimal way, and we know that we're making this a decimal, okay, we're dividing by 100. So we start with a percent, and make it a decimal. Well, the decimal point's here, so we got to move it to the left twice. 1, 2. These empty spots become zeros. Now our decimal form is 0.0015. That is read as 15 10,000ths. So 15 over 10,000, we have to get this in simplest form. So we're going to divide out a 5. So we're going to start with a 5. All right, so I'm going to divide a 5 out, and I get 3 over 2,000. So your final answer is 0.0015, 15 10,000ths, and 3 over 2,000. Decimal form, fraction form. Now, same thing for number 4. We have 55 hundredths of a percent. Sorry. So we're going to move this decimal to the left twice. Since it's already a percent, we have to divide. So we're going to take our decimal, move it twice to the left. So our decimal, 0.0055. So that's 55 10,000ths. So I'm going to put 55 over 10,000. And now I divide because I got to get it in simplest form. So that'd be 11 over 2,000. Well, we can't go any further than that. So your fraction form is 11 over 2,000. Okay, nothing changed there. We're still doing the same stuff we did in the last lesson when we changed a percent into a decimal and a percent into a fraction. So let's go back and we're going to do another one. So number 2 here. Now we have 170%. So one way to do this is turn it into a fraction, or you can continue doing the decimal way. So if I have 170%, we know that all whole numbers have a decimal after it. So if I'm making this a decimal, we know we start with a percent, we have to move it to the left twice because we're dividing by 100, so that would be 1.7. Now, to turn this into a fraction, well, this is going to be a mixed number because that's our whole number, so that just goes straight to our answer, 1. Now, this is what we have to look at. 7 tenths, 7 over 10. So we have 1.7, or 1 7/10, and 1 7/10. So that's how you do if it's bigger than 100%. So let's go back and do a couple of those. So back on page 121, we're going to do 1 and 2. Okay, so 350%. Okay, that is bigger than 100%. That's more. So we know automatically that's going to be a mixed number. But I'm going to head and start and turn it into a decimal first. So if they give us a percent, remember, if there's no decimal in the number itself, all whole numbers have a decimal after it. Now, since we're starting with percent, we're moving it to the left because we're dividing by 100. So 1, 2. So we have 3.5, 3.5, or 3 5/10. That's our decimal form. So that's part of it. Now we got to turn this into a mixed number. Remember, this is our whole number there. So that automatically just goes to our answer. That's in front of the fraction itself. Then this is 5/10. So 5 over 10, well, that's not simplest form. We can divide a 5 out. So I get 1/2. 3 1/2, 3.5. Those are your two ways of expressing. You have to put both for it to be correct. So we're putting it into fraction and decimal form. Okay, number 2. Now we have 600%. So once again, 1, 2. So we get 6 as our decimal form. Well, you don't have to put a decimal because it's a whole number, so you're done. And now we have 6 as our mixed number as well. So literally, the answer is 6 and 6. Decimal way, fraction way. So literally it becomes 6.0. There's nothing after it, so we don't have to worry about anything else. So that's your answer, 6 and 6. So that's how you change a number that's less than 1% and more than 100% into a decimal and fraction form. It's the same thing that we've been working with. So why don't you guys go ahead and go back and do page 118, A, B, and C, right in the middle of the page. A, B, C. So pause the video and do A, B, and C. So you're changing them into a decimal and then a mixed number or a fraction, depending on the numbers. And simplest form. Do not forget that. So pause the video and go from there. All right, now that you're back, let's do letter A. So I always do it the decimal way. So in this case, since it's a percent, I always move it to the left. Since we start with a percent, we're moving it to the left. So our decimal way is 0.0025. That is 25 10,000ths. So I'm going to put 25 over 10,000. I can actually divide a 25 out of this one because 25 goes into both of those numbers. And when we divide, we get 1 over 400. So those are your two answers. 25 10,000ths, 1 over 400. Okay, you're done. Now, letter B, 300,000. 1, 2. So I get 3 for my decimal form. And then 3 as a fraction is 3. So your answer is 3 decimal form, 3 for your fraction form. That's your answer. Okay, 530%. So 530, move the decimal twice. You get 5 3/10. Remember, 5 is a whole number, so 5 automatically goes to our answer. I'm not even going to mess with that. Now 3/10 is where we got to put that into a fraction. Well, we can't simplify that, so it's 3/10. And those are your two answers, 5.3, 5 3/10. That is all you have to do for these guys. So just follow the steps and you will get your two answers. Do not forget to simplify at the end if you have to. Now, same thing for example number 3. It's just a real life problem. So Jimmy's savings increased by 250%. It says write 250% as a mixed number in simplest form and as a decimal. Okay, well, so we have 250%. I'm going to move the decimal twice to the left, so 2.5. So 2.5. Now, to put that into a mixed number, we know that 2 automatically goes into our whole number, our answer, and then 5/10, 5 over 10. Well, we can divide a 5 out. You get 1 over 2. So 2 1/2 and 2.5 are your answers. Okay? So go ahead and pause the video, and I want you guys to do letter D at the bottom of that page. So letter D. So read through it and turn it into a decimal and a fraction in simplest form. This is 11/100%. So pause the video and do it now. Okay, now that you're back, let's look at letter D. So the stock price for a corporation increased by 11/100%. It says write 11/100% as a decimal and as a fraction in simplest form. So 0.11. Remember, we have to move it twice to the left since we started at percent. That percent sign's there. 1, 2. So your decimal way is 0.0011, which is 11 10,000ths. Now, you put 11 over 10,000. Okay, we look to see if we can simplify it. We can't, so your answer is 11 over 10,000. So there's your two answers right there. Decimal form, fraction form. That's what you have to do for these. All right, now we are going to do the opposite way, just like we did with the other lessons. So now they're going to give us a mixed number or a fraction, or a mixed number, fraction, or decimal, and they want you to turn it into a percent. Okay, this first one here, they give us 1 1/4. Okay, there's a couple ways of doing this, but one of the easier ways of doing it is to turn it into an improper fraction. So we're going to turn 1 1/4 into an improper fraction. To do that, remember, you take the whole number times the denominator. Well, that'd be 1 times 4. Okay, then you're going to add the numerator. So 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And you keep the denominator, so 4. So 5 over 4. Now, remember, all percents are out of 100, so we somehow got to get from 4 to 100. So we're going to multiply by 25. Well, whatever you do at the bottom, you got to do at the top. So 5 times 25 is 125. So our percent is 125%. Because we're done. Our goal was to reach 100 on the bottom because all percents are out of 100. Okay, so that's when you have a mixed number. All right? Or, yes, a mixed number. So let's jump over a couple pages, and we're going to go back to page 121. Okay, I want to do number 2 and number 6. Or number 5 and number 6. Sorry, I don't know why I said number 2. So we have 2.5 here. So I'm going to go ahead and change this into an improper fraction. Remember, whole number times the denominator. 2 times 2, 4. Plus 1, 5. Keep the denominator, so 5 over 2. Now, remember, the goal is to get 100 on the bottom. How do you go from 2 to 100? Well, you multiply by 50. Same thing up here. So 5 times 50 would be 250. Okay, so 250, which means we have our percent on the out of 100, so it's 250%. Okay, now number 6. So 9 3/4. So I'm going to change this into an improper fraction first. So 9 times 4 is 36. Plus 3 is 39 over 4. Well, we got to get 100 on the bottom again, so we got to multiply that by 25. Well, multiply that by 25. So 39 times 25, 975%, which means you're done. Okay, so that's how you change those. First, make that an improper fraction, and then just set it up like we have been. So you're going from your original denominator to 100, because all percents are out of 100. So you guys can go back, and I want you to do E and F in the middle of page 119. So pause the video and do E and F. All right, now that you're back, let's go ahead and do E together. So 2 and 9/10. So once again, I'm changing this into an improper fraction. So 2 times 10 is 20, plus 9, 29. I keep the denominator, so 10. We got to get 100 on the bottom. Well, we got to multiply that by 10. Whatever you do the bottom, got to do the top. So 290. So your percent is 290%. Okay, letter F. 3 times 5, 15. Plus 2, 17 over 5. Trying to get 100 on there, so we multiply by 20. Multiply by 20. And we get 340 on top. Well, that's out of 100, so we're done. So 340%. Okay, so that's how you do the mixed numbers. Now, if they give you a decimal, like they did in examples 5 and 6, so they give us a decimal. Remember, when we're changing it into a percent, we have to multiply by 100. So that means we're taking the decimal point and moving it to the right 2 times. So our percentage here would be 168%. Okay, for this one, 0.0075. Okay, since this is becoming a percent, we're multiplying it by 100. We're moving in the decimal to the right. So 1, 2. So since it's there, it's 0.75%, 75 hundredths of a percent. Okay, let's do a couple more just like that. Okay, we'll do number 10 and we'll do number 12 on page 121. So 2 and 64 hundredths. Since this is a decimal and we're making it a percent, we have to multiply by 100, so we move it to the right twice, the decimal. So that would be 264%. Okay, this one, 0.0034, 34 ten-thousandths. We're going to move this to the right twice. 1, 2. 35 hundredths of a, or 34, I don't know why I put 5, sorry guys. 0.34%. Okay, so that's all that you need to work on. So why don't you guys go back? I want to see you guys do G, H, and I. G, H, I. So pause the video, work through G, H, and I. So you're making those percents. Do not forget your percent sign, or otherwise it will be marked wrong. And we'll go from there. Okay, now that you're back, so let's do 2.5. So we're going to make this a percent. So remember, whenever I'm making a number a percent, I'm multiplying by 100. So I'm moving in the decimal to the right 2 times. 1, 2. And when there's an empty space like that, you just annex a 0, add a 0. 250%. Okay, this one. Once again, moving it to the right twice. 1, 2. 0.4%. 0.4%. And you can put a 0 here if you guys want. You don't have to. Okay, now this one, once again, 1, 2. 0.16%, 16 hundredths of a percent, and you're done. Those are your answers. So that's how you change. So we started with this one, percents as decimals. And so they wanted you to start, we started with a percent and went to a decimal and fraction. That's where you move it to the left twice. And then on mixed number, changing a mixed number in fractions and decimals to a percent, that's where you go to the right twice because you're multiplying. Okay, so work through all these. If you need extra help, do some more problems on page 121 and 120 and even further, and then go do the IXLs. Okay,